This is going to be a simple video talking about why I prefer the Kenner Jurassic dinos over the newer Mattel dinos from Jurassic World. Now, there are several reasons for this. I just feel like I need to voice my opinion on these guys because I feel like everyone else has the same opinion. So I think that there can be so many, what's the word? There can be so many improvements that they can do on their dinos. Do they look amazing? Yes, they do. They look very nicely. In particular, and you see, I have my hand on it. My favorite is the Quetzalcoatlus. Now, there's this new thing they have going on with the wings, which actually works pretty well. The wings tuck in like this, and they actually flap pretty darn good. And let me show you. This is what I like about the Mattel dinos. The pteranodons and the pterosaurs can actually flap their wings very well. So that right there is an improvement from the old Kenner pterosaur, yeah, pteranodon. Uh, Here we go with the complaints. There's they're very limited in what they can do, and I say that because, well, take this Dimetrodon for example. It's extreme damage. Does nothing. All it can do is this. That's all it can do. Other than that, it's just a regular action figure that is stuck in a pose like this, and all you can do is open and close the mouth, maybe move the neck a little bit, and that's it. That's all it does. The other thing is the paint jobs. The paint jobs are bare minimum. Bare minimum. And I mean, the paint jobs were not perfect when it came to the Kenner dinos, by any means. But this is even worse. They give you the bare minimum. This guy is how many dollars, and it's just a little guy. And he does practically nothing. And barely even looks like anything. It looks like something cheap that you would find at a yard sale somewhere, which is where you always find these guys. And the people who try to sell these guys, especially out of the package and used, get nothing for them. I have this guy because we never got to see a Dimetrodon in any of the movies other than Dominion, which just came out. So that is why I picked this guy up, because he is actually worth something to me. So, if you pick these guys up because they're worth so much to you, there you go. You have your calling. I got the Quetzalcoatlus because I just thought it looked the best, and it actually has the most elaborate paint job of all the other dinos that I've seen so far. I just think it looks the best, and it has a very good action feature that actually makes sense for this animal. Like I said, the paint jobs are not the best. They give you the bare minimum, and they just kind of scatter the colors all over the place to the point where the entire thing looks blotchy and incomplete. And the action features are like, you can't even pick it up without it making a loud noise. There's no way to turn them on and off. That also makes them so cheap. I mean, this is $40 at the store, and you can't even turn it on and off. It has an action feature where if you pick it up wrong, you know, okay, now it won't do it. But the other thing is, they give these guys feet that are way too big. However, what I think the reason for that is because it helps them stand up better. Probably. I'm not sure. But here's my other complaint. We've talked about paint jobs. We've talked about uh, limited abilities, because they really are limited. They're just kind of stuck in one pose, and there's not much you can do with them. The same could be said about the Kenner dinos, but the Kenner dinos really made it real. They had tremendous paint jobs. Even the simpler ones just looked a whole lot more natural than these, cheap jobs. I've seen quite a few of these guys in stores without even any stripes on them or black spotting. So they're really doing the absolute bare minimum. It's not even lighter on the bottom, just on the bottom of the jaw. They make it as cheap as possible, and then stores charge you top dollar for them. This one is actually kind of worth your money because not only can it flap its wings, but it can actually move its legs, and you have quite some action with the neck here. It can't go side to side, but it does go up and down, and it swivels. It opens and closes its mouth by triggering this button down here on the chest. So it actually does some stuff. The only thing it's missing is sound, but I guess that would make it a lot more expensive, especially considering inflation. Now we come to this guy, and it actually does have a pretty good action feature. However, it only makes 2 sounds, and it also has that feature where if you pick it up wrong, it'll make that noise. And a lot of times it'll do it over and over again. Now we get to the material. It's hard plastic. Hard plastic. The Kenner dinos, if it wasn't the smaller ones, they were made out of rubber. And they, to me, are so much better. And if anything, they're a little more accurate than what we're seeing with the Jurassic World toys. Because especially the Tyrannosaurus Rex, it is made after the sculpting from Stan Winston Studios. And I'll show it to you right now. You guys have seen this one before. This is the Tyrannosaurus Rex from 1993. And yes, it is also stuck in one pose. However, it looks a whole lot more natural, and it does actually have a thorough paint job with one thing missing. I guess you call it finger claws. I don't know what you call them, but they are the only things that are not painted. Other than that, it has everything done. It has a thorough job. Everything is consistent. It is very heavily detailed, down to the spot where it has rubber skin, which makes it feel way more natural. Now, the sounds are not accurate to the film, which is my complaint against this one. One of my few complaints. Arms do turn pretty good. Actually, they go 360, and they look different because they're outwards a lot more, but I think that's because they're trying to put it in an attack stance, if you want to call it that. The teeth are done, the tongue is done, the eyes are done very well. All things we see with the newer one, but it has rubber skin, and it's just so much better in my opinion. That's what they need to do. They need to bring back the rubber dinos, because now what we have is this hard plastic, and it feels so hollow that I'm afraid to drop them on the floor because I'm afraid that they're just going to break. These are made out of rubber, and they're pretty much solid. This just looks a whole lot better than what we have now. Now what we have is humongous feet, a bigger head than the rest of the body, and I don't know. I just think this is so much better, and I think that it would probably make a lot more money if they were to go back to doing rubber skin. But I don't know if rubber is more expensive or if the plastic is. Anyways, maybe they will bring it back. But there's a consistent pattern and color scheme with all the Kenner dinos, with this one being the most elaborate, the most popular, so hence the reason why it's the most elaborate, and it's the most well done. You can look at this and you can decide right away which animal this is. You really can. So, this is why I prefer the Kenner dinos over the newer and cheaper looking and thoroughly cheaply made Mattel dinos. I do like the human figures, but I just think the Kenner ones are so much better. And you don't really have to worry about it going off when you pick it up because you really have to trigger it for that to happen. Like that. And it doesn't stomp as soon as you pick it up. You actually have to stomp it against something. Or let me try this. There you go. See, if you don't want to continually, do that with it, which from what I heard is not good for it, you can just kind of tap it back here on the spine. I guess that's where the hips are, and it'll go off. Alright guys, so let me know in the comments if you feel the same way. Sorry this video took so long, but there were a few things to consider for this video, so let me know what you think. You can like and subscribe if you want, and if you want to see a different kind of video in the future, if you want me to cover something else, maybe considering Kenner, just 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 let me know, because I'm really getting annoyed with these Mattel dinosaurs right now. Okay, guys, have a good one, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. Take care.